It's Friday, March 22nd. I'm Beth Penny, and this is NTV News First Edition.
NTV News First Edition with your host, Tony Marie Wiseman, and meteorologist Eddie Shear.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Well, a deal is done. We begin tonight back at the Confederation Building, where there was a large presence of protesters and police officers over the last number of days. But today those crowds cleared after a meeting between harvesters and the fisheries minister this morning. NTV's Bailey Howard was there and brings us the latest.
Hi Beth, it was an exciting day here at the Confederation Building. As you can see, it's an empty parking lot behind me. The police have gone home and the harvesters have gone home, and that's because harvesters left with the deal after a meeting with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans officials this morning.
First of all, the first thing that will happen, we will have a monitoring committee in place to look at these individuals, companies who cannot sell. So that will be in place. The province will put that in. And that's something we haven't had before. I expect that will have some teeth, because in the past, it's kind of like a paper tiger. We all agree that things will work out better, but it never does. This one should have teeth. We'll have us, ourselves, and the province on board. That should be a substantial change. The province has said the application process is in place now, and they will entertain applications from individuals who want to process or take out in Newfoundland.
For all species?
Sorry?
For all species?
All species, correct, yes.
And I'll have more on this story and the details of that deal coming up on the NTV Evening News Hour. Beth?
Well, Teachers Association President Trent Langdon is giving government an F in terms of K-12 supports in yesterday's provincial budget. Some education-related items include $30.1 million over the next 5 years to revitalize the fleet of school buses, as well as close to $20 million for the elimination of the 1.6-kilometer policy for students to access school bus services. Also, government highlighted money allocated for new schools in Cartwright, Kenmount Terrace, Portugal Cove, Pilley's Island, and the planning of a new school in the town of Paradise. But Langdon says support for his members are far and few between. And much of what was outlined in the budget, he says, has already been announced.
I will hear from our members on this, I guarantee you. I'm concerned that this is an opportunity lost. We could have had an opportunity here to really dig our feet in and say, look, we are going to move forward. But my deep concern in this province is that education is not a political issue. There's a lot of political issues in this province now, a lot of need in lots of different sectors. But education, I don't feel, is at the top of it. And especially when I read the highlights, and education is not even listed there as a highlight, that's extremely worrisome to me.
The Registered Nurses Union says government ignored budget requests that they had outlined. Union President Yvette Coffey says her biggest fear is that this province will lose more nurses to private agencies.
Our hope would have been, and our expectation, that more money would have been put towards retention. Some of the things that were mentioned in this budget were actually our collective agreement, like a mentorship program. We actually negotiated that. There is new research out now from the Federal Chief Nurse's Office, which I participated in focus groups. One of the biggest things that we need is mentorship, and we're hearing it from students, we're hearing it from new graduates, internationally educated nurses. We need that mentorship in the workplace so that people who come here and take jobs in Newfoundland and Labrador actually stay here.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here on NTV News First Edition, but when we come back, NTV's Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear will be here with the weather forecast.
Closed captioning of this NTV program is brought to you by Heart and Stroke. Stroke is a medical emergency. If you recognize any signs, call 911 fast. Paramedics will get you to the right hospital.
So where have they gone?
They escaped, sir, at the speed of light.
Well, let's get after them at the speed of light, too. Let's go.
It's just that we only have cable speed, sir.
I just asked.
Yeah, I asked. We just asked.
Is Ozempic right for you? Just ask your doctor.
Say hello to more possibilities, more family faves, more gatherings made, more get-home lates, more fancy dates, more everydays made special days. Order more at hellofresh.ca.
Afternoon hunger got you down? There's nothing better than a delicious, creamy Oikos high-protein snack. It's time for Oikos.
Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. Every dollop is so rich and creamy, it makes any sandwich delicious. Irresistible. Hellman's Mayonnaise.
New Finish Ultramax, engineered for the toughest conditions. Dry, burnt-on stains, old dishwashers, very hard water. New Finish Ultramax with Cycle Sync technology helps deliver the ultimate clean.
Bear paws for bear parents? Sun bear's asleep.
Finally.
Busted!
New Bear Paws Crunchy Cookies, a shareable snack you won't want to share.
I'm Robert Sean. Join me at the Avalon Mall this Saturday from 11 till 3. Hop into guest services for your clues in the Avalon Mall's Easter Scavenger Hunt and enter to win a huge Easter prize pack. Visit shopavalonmall.com for extra details.
We are transforming Newfoundland and Labrador. You see it in record high investments in critical areas like healthcare, housing, seniors, and poverty reduction. You see it in the new opportunities we are forging in both traditional and emerging industries, where our efforts are attracting global attention. In Budget 2024, we're building on that progress, delivering real results, real leadership, transforming our health, our economy, our province.
Time has passed me by without you by my side. When I think of all that's gone, you're still the one. Let it go, 'cause you know for sure we've been apart, now we need you more. Still those times I call it away.
Where have they gone?
They escaped, sir, at the speed of light.
Well, let's get after them at the speed of light, too. Let's go!
It's just that we only have cable speed, sir.
Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. Well, now it's time for a look at your weather forecast. Joining us live is Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear. Eddie, unfortunately, I didn't get outside much today. I've been working a lot today, as have you. But, you know, the weather looked nice here in the capital city.
Yeah, really nice in the capital city, Beth. A few flurries here and there, but we did get some sunny breaks earlier, and we still have some now. However, areas of western Newfoundland not exactly seeing the sunshine. As we take a look at our live radar imagery, we can see areas of snow from near Parsons Pond all the way down to just north of the Port of Basque area. And as we take a bit of a closer look in, you can see where those darker blues are showing up. Basically anywhere between Corner Brook and Stephenville is the heaviest snowfall right now. So I suspect the ride, especially once you're on the TCH on the south side of Corner Brook as you get high in elevation here, down toward the Stephenville crossing area and the junction roads to take you into Stephenville, I would say they're not in great shape. And as we move into this evening, I don't foresee them miraculously getting better because the snow isn't going to stop. It looks like it is going to continue for several hours overnight as we are seeing some onshore snow bands enhanced by an area of low pressure swirling off the coast of Labrador. Over eastern areas, we're also seeing some flurries right now working their way into Placentia Bay over the Avalon Peninsula, and we're also seeing some of these flurries over the Burin Peninsula as well. even though the radar is not picking them up. As we take a look at some of the webcams and NTV Skycams across the region, you can see in Gander, TCH is flowing smoothly. Grand Falls, Windsor over High Street, overcast but not looking too bad. In St. John's, looks like a few flurries around as we look toward the western side of the harbor, maybe even some flurries flying there. Kind of hard to pick out on the screen, but it's nothing major. But in Corner Brook, much different story. You can see right now the snow is coming down heavily, and roads for the moment are likely just either slushy or wet like you see here. That's Maple Valley Road there. And I do suspect that as we lose the heating of the day, we lose the sunlight, roads will get slippery across much of western Newfoundland. That's kind of the nice thing about March. Even though it's snowing and near freezing, the sun angle is high enough that unless it's snowing really heavy, roads tend to remain more wet and slushy than snowy. But once we lose that sunlight, that will obviously change in a big way overnight. Taking a look at our 4 webcams for you in Labrador. Beautiful afternoon in Cartwright after some snow last night. Lansdowne not looking too bad right now. Same thing in Wallbush, although it looks like some light snow is flying. And in Happy Valley Goose Bay, conditions have improved significantly from earlier when the Trans-Labrador Highway through the community was certainly slippery and snow-covered as the snow is coming down intensely. And so far today in the Goose Bay area, the airport has measured 25 centimeters of new snow. Total will likely be around 30 by the time we're all said and done. Across Labrador and Newfoundland right now, we are seeing some winter weather alerts along the coast of Labrador. We've got a winter storm warning up for Postal Makovic and Hopedale, and Nain under a blowing snow advisory and also a wind warning. Wind speeds in Nain this evening may gust as high as 100 kilometers per hour. For areas of western Newfoundland, Parsons Pond, Hawke's Bay, Grossmore and Corner Brook under weather alerts. The more severe of the two down through Grossmore and Corner Brook, where winter storm warning is in effect mainly for significant snow in the higher terrain. Lower level areas, lower elevations will not see as much snow, and you can see that here on the expected snowfall through noon tomorrow. Notice all the bullseye showing up on the map there. That is the higher terrain. And the lower elevations, while some snow is in the forecast, 5 or 10 centimeters. Stephenville potentially as much as 15. Generally, we're not looking at significant amounts, but the significant amounts will be in the high terrain. So if you've got a cabin or you're going to be up on the snowmobile, certainly keep that in mind, that the high terrain is going to see significant amounts of snow. And that's because we've seen this area of low pressure move through, and on the back side of it, we're getting onshore flow enhanced by the area of low pressure and some gusty wind speeds. And that low will move offshore late tonight, and that will kind of ease the snow. But it's also driving some gusty conditions across the island right now. Wind 30 gusting 60, 74 in Port aux Basques. In Nain right now, winds are gusting 70. They were a bit higher earlier, and they may ramp up again this evening. Futurecast will show our area of low pressure tracking offshore. There's the snow there in blue across much of Labrador. That kind of winds down overnight, becomes a lot less widespread. And same thing on the island. By tomorrow morning, still seeing flurries for the west coast, but they become a lot less widespread as the day progresses. And as we go throughout the day tomorrow, yes, we're looking at flurries for western Newfoundland and for parts of coastal Labrador, but by and large, it's going to be a calmer and more tranquil Saturday. Sunday will not be that way. But Sunday also we'll see some relatively warm temperatures. So we'll talk about tonight and tomorrow first. So for tonight, -3 to -4 across most of Newfoundland. Again, the snow in the west. In Labrador, the snow does wind down overnight. And then for tomorrow across the big land, -2 to -12, coldest west on the island, highs near 0 for many of us. A little bit colder on the west coast. And then we look to Sunday. Look at Sunday's temperatures on the island. Between 8 and 10 degrees for a lot of areas, but with that will come some rain for the west coast and also a very windy day as well, with wind speeds in central Newfoundland potentially gusting near 100 kilometers per hour. We'll talk about this coming up in my next forecast on the evening news hour. Today's weather photo comes to us from Hattie Burton, taken near Hampton Junction. This was submitted to our weather photo contest. If you've got photos, enter our contest at our website, ntv.ca. Click on the banner, and you're in the grand prize draw once you agree to the rules and regulations for a 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition from Capital Subaru. The contest ends on April the 10th. Coming up in a few minutes on the evening news hour, we'll take a better look at your weekend forecast and what we can expect into next week. Beth, back to you.
Thanks so much, Eddie. Well, Well, Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales, has been diagnosed with cancer and is currently undergoing chemotherapy treatment. The royal family issued the news late this afternoon, along with this video statement.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who have taken great care of me, for which I'm so grateful. In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment. This, of course, came as a huge shock, and William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It has taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. But most importantly, it has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte and Louis in a way that's appropriate for them and to reassure them that I'm going to be okay. As I've said to them, I am well and getting stronger every day by focusing on the things that will help me heal in my mind, body and spirits. Having William by my side is a great source of comfort and reassurance too, as is the love, support and kindness that has been shown by so many of you. It means so much to us both. We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment. My work has always brought me a deep sense of joy, and I look forward to being back when I'm able. But for now, I must focus on making a full recovery.
Well, in Nashville, Tennessee, the search for a missing college student has come to an end. Friday, the body of 22-year-old Riley Strain was pulled from the Cumberland River in West Nashville. That's about 8 miles away from where the University of Missouri student was last seen. He vanished 2 weeks ago after he was kicked out of a bar in downtown Nashville. Authorities say no trauma was found that would indicate foul play, but an autopsy is pending. Well, hotels helping dogs get a second chance and strangers lending a hand on the road. Patrick Cornell shares these stories and more in today's Take a Look at This.
Looking for a dog-friendly hotel for your next trip to the mountains? What about a dog helping hotel? The park on Main in Highlands, North Carolina is exactly that. Not only are you welcome to bring your dog, but the hotel hopes you might leave with an extra one, their foster dog in residence. Working with the local Humane Society, the hotel has been fostering dogs for years, exposing them to thousands of potential adopters.
We've probably adopted 25 to 30 dogs through the history of our partnership, and those dogs have gone all over the country.
The latest success story? Calhoun, an 8-year-old hound mix that a couple visiting from Nashville spent time with and just couldn't leave behind. Speaking of good deeds, here's a unique one: roadside coffee delivery. When truck driver Fidel Cabrera's big rig broke down on I-80 East in Pennsylvania, he ended up waiting hours for a tow. To pass the time, he posted on a local traffic ranting Facebook page asking for some coffee. Much to his surprise, not one, but two Good Samaritans who saw the post delivered a hot cup of joe to him.
I was there 5 hours and, it changed my whole day. It could have been different, but they made my day better, and I thank them for that very much. The little things go a long way for someone.
Two-headed snakes are rare enough, but one that's gone through successful surgery? Wow! Tiger Lily, a western rat snake, is recovering from surgery after having her ovaries removed at the St. Louis Zoo. Two-headed snakes don't live long in the wild, but state biologists are optimistic about her chances in captivity. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Well, we're outside now. Here's a live shot of the Confederation Building. It's 1 degree currently in St. John's. It's a little quieter at the Confederation Building right now than it has been over the last number of days. We'll be right back. NTV's Ben Cleary will be by with Political Watch.
Closed captioning of this NTV program is brought to you in part by Atlantic Jazz Nights at Arts and Culture Centers across the island. March 24th to the 28th. Tickets on sale now at artsandculturecenter.com.
Chris came to TurboTax because
I switched gears from delivering part-time to streaming full-time.
so I made their moves count, filing with 100% accuracy and guaranteeing their maximum refund. Intuit TurboTax.
When you're going to the championship game with your buddies, you want to make sure you get MotoMaster motor oil. Over 1,000 proven quality products with an unbeatable warranty. When there's a lot riding on you, ride with MotoMaster. The next time you promise to help out on moving day, you want to make sure you get MotoMaster tires. Over 1,000 proven quality products with an unbeatable warranty. When there's a lot riding on you, ride with MotoMaster.
We are transforming Newfoundland and Labrador. You see it in record high investments in critical areas like healthcare, housing, seniors, and poverty reduction. You see it in the new opportunities we are forging in both traditional and emerging industries, where our efforts are attracting global attention. In Budget 2024, we're building on that progress, delivering real results, real leadership, transforming our health, our economy, our province.
The next Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $25 million. What are your dreams?
I've always wanted to start my own coffee company.
Grown on the side of our own mountain with our faces on it.
Get your Lotto Max tickets today.
We get it. Life happens. None of us are immune to financial difficulty. So when the unexpected happens, managing that debt can be very stressful.
But there's no reason to give up hope. At MNP, we've been helping Canadians become debt-free for over 50 years.
Contact us today for a free consultation. Together, we'll find the right debt solution and get you back on your feet.
MNP Limited, licensed insolvency trustees, issued by the federal government.
We can't stop Sheila from decorating her workspace, but we can help stop your business from losing energy and money. Start saving with the Business Efficiency Program.
Home care is a wonderful thing. It's time we acknowledge the true value of what home care workers do for the elderly and for children and adults with disabilities. Home care workers often work alone. They provide company and peace of mind. They allow people to stay in their homes, in their communities, while reducing strain on our healthcare system. It's demanding work, rewarding work, essential work. Home care is healthcare.
A message from NAPE.
Electricity is everywhere you go, even if you're off the beaten path. When enjoying winter activities, look for hazards that can be harder to see. Avoid power line rights of way. Stay safe.
Academy Canada is so much more than a school. It is an experience. Discover every day. A dynamic atmosphere filled with people excited about a brighter future. Change your life. Academy Canada. Come, take your place.
It's a general community. There's a lot of older people like myself and some people not so old. People have, they talk about sports and puzzles, go out in the yard, and we have a library here, and movies, and we go out to lunch. Lunch is always different. That's a very good part of the situation as well. It's all inclusive and very friendly. I've learned a lot. Basically, I've met a lot of friends. It's a great place to go.
First Edition, Political Watch.
Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. It's time now for our Friday feature, Political Watch. Joining me is NTV's legislative reporter, Ben Clary. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Beth.
Well, it was a busy week, as budget week always is, but of course this budget was a bit more unique than perhaps any other. Before we get into some of the highlights, can you tell us how this budget day looked a little different than in years past?
Absolutely. So this budget was unordinary, and it was unordinary for a number of reasons. First of all, there was record revenue, $10.3 billion in revenue, and record spending, $10.4 billion in spending. Both are the most ever for this province. So it was unordinary in that way, but it was also unordinary in the fact of how it rolled out. So it's believed in the first time in the history of the legislature, the budget was delayed a day because of protests. It was supposed to be tabled on Wednesday. It was then tabled on Thursday. So this is how it looked from kind of a media perspective. On Thursday, we were told that the budget might happen if it's safe to do so. At around 8 a.m., media were told, given the green light, the thumbs up, that a police escort could bring media inside of the Confederation building. Now, many media outlets decided that wasn't the way they decided to go in for various reasons. So what happened was government set up an off-site location for media to be locked in. And what locked in means is you give up your phones, you look at the budget documents for a few hours, you speak to ministers, you have no connection with the outside world until the budget speech is read at 2 o'clock. At that point, we can start telling people what's inside the budget. So we did that at an off-site location. We had about 2 hours to read what the budget documents were before it was tabled. So again, it was an unordinary budget for a number of reasons. And again, record spending, record revenue, and delayed for what's believed to be the first time.
And of course, Ben, as we heard from Finance Minister Siobhan Cody, she also ended up spending the night at the Confederation building, which is unique as well. And Ben, can you give us some of the items that stuck out to you and some that might be important to people at home in Budget 2024?
So I think maybe the most important thing for people at home, myself included, is no new taxes, tax increases, or fee increases. So none of that has changed. Now, when we look at the numbers, the deficit, projected deficit, is $152 million. And a bit of a shocker in this budget, we learned that for this fiscal year, which ends in a couple weeks, the budget was projected to be at about $160 million. It ballooned to $433 million for a number of reasons. Chief among them, oil revenue is down, as well as corporate income tax. Now, net debt is projected to be at about $17.8 billion, and there's $72 million, Beth, going into the future fund. That'll bring it up to about more than $350 million. Siobhan Cody says in the next few years, around 2029, it could be at $1.7 billion and chiefly used to pay down debt. Beyond that, there was record spending on infrastructure, in health, as well as education. So in health, there's going to be family care teams opened up throughout the province. Right now, there's about 19. Some are open, some are opening. We know there's going to be some put down in places like Springdale, downtown St. John's, and Lewisport. Beyond that, when it comes to affordability, because I know a lot of people, are hurt by the rising cost of living right now, a lot of measures are things that are extensions of things that have already been announced, like the 8-cent reduction on the gas tax. And yeah, Beth, that's a lot of things that caught my eye in Budget 2024.
Well, thanks so much, Ben. That's NTV's legislative reporter, Ben Clary, joining us live from the newsroom tonight. Have a great weekend.
You too, Beth.
First Edition, across the province.
Brought to you by Penny and Brown Law, personal injury lawyers, 37 West Street, Corner Brook. Trust our experience to protect you.
Tonight and across the province, the Canadian Federation of University Women is hoping you'll join them this weekend for the Great Big Book Sale. The book sale started on Thursday and will run until tomorrow inside the former Bouclair store in the Avalon Mall parking lot. The Canadian Federation of University Women say this is a great opportunity to buy books from many different genres at a good price. Some books range in price from $1 to $5, but you can also get good quality books for a reasonable price. Proceeds from the sale mainly go towards scholarships and other initiatives of CFUW St. John's. Tomorrow's book sale will be open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it will also be half-price day. And that's it for NTV News First Edition for tonight. I'm Beth Penny. Thank you so much for joining us.